morning, guys. Today is a very exciting day because we are revamping my pottery corner. In case you guys didn't know, yes, I actually have a pottery wheel here in my apartment. I bought it last summer because I was so enamored with ceramics and the idea of having a home studio. But ever since we moved into this apartment, I haven't used it once. Right now, it's just an extra storage table, an extra countertop, a place to put various plant fertilizers and plant care stuff. But today, that is all going to change. My friends at City Mud Denver are coming here today to help install my dream ceramic setup. They're actually the place that I first started learning ceramics almost 2 years ago. So for context, I am a polymer clay artist. That is where my heart is. It's making miniatures, it's making charms. But something in me felt like I just needed to progress to ceramics because that's what I've always wanted to do as a kid. Like, ceramics has always been the goal. But quickly I learned that ceramics is so much harder. You have to have so much more knowledge. It's truly a craft in which it takes years and years to master. For example, there's 3 different stages of the clay in itself. There's greenware, bisque, and then glaze. And in between all of those stages of your piece, things can go wrong. And during my time at the City Mud studio, I learned so much, but I knew that I just couldn't commit myself to a studio membership there because your girl doesn't drive. I was having to Uber there every week for class, and although I'm okay with doing that, it just didn't feel right for me. Also, at the time, my shop was super busy, so I needed to delegate more of my time to polymer clay art, and then slowly my ceramics dreams just kind of fizzled out. I thought buying my own pottery wheel would solve all my issues, but really it was a time and commitment issue. And then I was only able to do one single ceramics launch last May where I sold like maybe 10 pieces, and that was it. After that, I didn't touch clay ever again. But during the time I was away from ceramics, I really missed it. I really wanted to be a part of the City Mud community again. And about a month ago, Emily and Kyle, the co-owners of City Mud, announced that they are doing home studio memberships where if you pay a fee, they'll come in, set up a pottery wheel for you. Of course, I already have one, but they're setting up shelving and delivering clay for you. And then I also will get access to their studio to glaze and fire my pieces. And I immediately reached out to Emily and said, can I be a part of this? Can I do this? And she said yes. I am so excited to become a potter again and be part of the ceramics community. Even if I don't end up selling any of these pieces, I'm doing this for me. I want to have a creative hobby that teaches me discipline, that teaches me patience. And yeah, I'm just so excited. So Emily and Kyle are coming in about an hour to install the shelving and deliver the clay and the tools and everything. And then after the installation, we're going to head over to their studio to do a quick orientation. I kind of want to clean things up for them and move this table back and make more space overall so they can easily bring in the shelves and stuff. So I'm going to do that now. Put that mirror. Okay, you guys, I think I cleared enough space, plenty of space actually. I think they just needed like a 5x5 space for the pottery, preferably. So now we wait. That's the nice thing about you guys building is like you know how to fix it.
Yeah.
And then we also brought just like some bats for you, another water bucket, some plastic terracotta pots.
Amazing.
A toolkit. And then this will double as like what you can transport the pots to the studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it should be easy to like pack it in there.
All right, you guys, so they just finished setting up the shelves and showing us how to dispose of all the clay and the water and stuff. Now we're headed to the studio so we can have orientation on firing, glazing, and also how to, transport the buckets and where to put all of the slip clay and such. I'm so excited right now. I think the pottery corner looks so good. It's a little cloudy now, so I couldn't take any beauty shots for you guys, but I'll take the and beauty shot maybe tomorrow. And maybe tomorrow we can also start throwing for the first time in like a year. I think we feel really fortunate because there's only 4 at-home memberships that City Mud offers, and I just so happened to snag one of the 4, which is pretty crazy. We're City Mud members now.
All of these have cobalt as their base layer, and then most of them have another layer on top of it, except for the one that's just cobalt, which is the one that's on that edge.
I'm so excited to try out the new ceramic setup, but for now I'm so tired, so I'm gonna do my skincare and head to bed. This video is kindly sponsored by Osea. Osea is clean, clinically tested skincare from the sea with ingredients like algae and seaweed. I love that this brand is mother and daughter founded and have been vegan and cruelty free since 1996. I start with their ocean cleanser to remove everything like dirt and oil, and then I treat my skin with their Dream Night Serum. This is packed with so many good ingredients to help reduce the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. Then I top it off with their Dream Night Cream, which is clinically shown to reduce the effects of stress on the skin. I love that it smells like lavender, so when you put it on before bed, it's so calming. I've always been curious about Osea products, and I'm happy to say that I really enjoy them. So for a limited time, you can get 10% off using my code UNCOMFY. And thank you, Osea, for sponsoring this video. Good morning, friends. It's been a couple days. The weather kind of took a turn, and I was waiting for it to be nice and sunny to show you guys, but I simply cannot wait any longer. I'm so excited. Okay, let's take a tour of our new home pottery studio. I want to give you guys a full rundown of all the materials that are here and what we're doing to make this work, because pottery at home in a smaller space is not for the faint of heart. And when I tried this the first time last year, I remember looking on YouTube like how to do pottery at home, and I just couldn't find anything that was really good. So hopefully this little tour and the rundown of the cleaning system will help anyone who wants to do pottery at home as well. Firstly, we have the actual pottery wheel that I bought last year. This is the Shimpo VL Lite. I bought this wheel because my teachers recommended it to me. It's really good for beginners. I think it was around $800, which is actually really expensive now that I'm thinking about it. I would highly recommend buying your wheel secondhand off Facebook Marketplace or just asking around. There are plenty of people that have relatives or they themselves just can't use their wheel anymore. But yeah, I love this wheel. If you can't find it secondhand, there are also definitely much cheaper options that I've seen on Amazon. Honestly, just YouTube or TikTok it, and there are definitely cheaper options for wheels. The second component to this, and the most exciting to me, is this custom built shelf. The folks at City Mud actually built this specifically to fit with the Shimpo VL Lite, to fit snugly and perfectly, to optimize space and to make your workflow more efficient. Here you can see how they actually cut it to fit perfectly against the wheel, which is just such a nice touch. This was something that is a game changer because previously I didn't really have any shelves. I tried to clear some space in my old apartment for pottery, but this is just so nice because as soon as I'm done throwing, I can take the bat off of the wheel and move it right here. Just adding those little bits of efficiency, I feel like will make such a big difference in the long run. I think they slightly varnished these wood boards, or maybe they're just naturally like that, but they did tell me that they are waterproof. So once my pieces are a little bit dry, I can take them off the bat, reuse my bats, and just leave the clay pieces directly on the wood. I'm thinking that these bottom 2 shelves can be used for storage and clay, and then these 2 top shelves can be eventually filled with all of our ceramics pieces. Another thing I was struggling with was getting a good wedging surface, because before you can even throw on the wheel, you have to wedge your clay, right, to get all the air bubbles out. This is genius. They provided me with the cutest wedging surface. I'm pretty sure this is just a panel of wood that they've stapled canvas onto. Canvas is one of the best surfaces you can work clay on because it's extremely porous. You know, it's so funny how this clay is the opposite of polymer clay. Polymer clay, you want something smooth like glass or plastic, but with actual clay, you know, when you're wedging it out, you don't want it necessarily to stick to your surface. Canvas is the perfect solution. I love that I can move this around to almost any one of my tables in my apartment to wedge my clay. I could also potentially move the plants and put it here and just wedge my clay here, but I'm a little too short for this height. Maybe I could get a little step stool to gain more leverage, but this is how they originally demonstrated it, and I love this idea because it contains all of my pottery work to this corner. So yeah, a super good DIY wedging surface. Onto these buckets. So pottery can get pretty messy, and you also don't want to wash clay down the drain because it will ruin your pipes. And I live in an apartment, so having a good cleaning system is essential. You know, like, it's funny to say, but without these 3 buckets, this would not work. So let me explain. And City Mud was amazing. They nicely labeled each bucket. This one is the cleaning bucket. You know, after I throw on the wheel, my hands are all muddy. I'm going to rinse my hands in this bucket and not the sink. So I'll rinse my hands in this bucket, and effectively it will turn into clay water. I will let this settle for 24 hours. The clay sediment will sink to the bottom, and what's left will be clear water on top. I can pour that clear water down the drain, and the mud that's on the bottom, I can move to this bucket, the wet bucket. All of the failed attempts will go in here. All of my slip will go in here. This bucket is for dry clay. So all of my clay trimmings, all of my broken greenware, all the pieces that haven't been in the kiln yet, but I don't want to fire, that will be broken into pieces and thrown into this bucket. So once these are full, I'll take them to the studio. And from there, they will recycle it into a new block of clay. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a whole life cycle of clay. Nothing goes to waste, and I can take care of the plumbing. I also have this big bin to transport all of my pieces to take to the studio to glaze and fire. Okay. I think that's it. Let me think of anything else that people might ask questions about. This stool is from IKEA. This plastic mat to protect the floor is also from IKEA. And I'm gonna be cleaning most everything with either a wet sponge or a wet rag. My goal is for this craft to teach me patience and also mindfulness because it's in my home and because I'm sharing the space with my partner and my dog. I want to be extremely mindful of how messy I'm being and how clean I'm being, because I can be quite guilty of leaving a mess with any craft that I do, but this one I want to really try to be as clean as possible, and hopefully that'll carry through with every other aspect in my life. So now that we've done the tour, I think I'm gonna try to throw something. This is gonna be a little water bucket for throwing. I'm not filling this up all the way because I want to leave enough space to pour this whole bucket into here when I'm done. Hi, I found a stool. I feel so tall. I think I'm gonna practice with a couple 1-pound balls and see how that goes because I haven't thrown in like a year. Oh, this clay is so nice. What the heck? I think I'm gonna wedge here actually because this counter is where I can get like the best leverage. Point of wedging is to get all of the air bubbles out, and I remember liking this part, and I think I'm pretty good at this. It's like a good wrist warm up. Okay, so I have 3 balls of clay that are about 1 pound. Some are bigger than others, but I also made sure to clean my countertop real well, but I think I'm ready to finally start throwing. Well, I think this is the most centered I'm gonna get it. you guys, I've been throwing for about an hour and a half, and I only have this tiny cup to show for it. I'm honestly surprised that I even managed to get this on my very last attempt. Your girl's a little rusty, but I don't know, it actually looks like a pretty good cylinder for literally, I think my fatal mistake was I didn't weigh enough clay. So it was like, they were all about like less than a pound actually. So by the time I managed to get something centered, it was like a pitiful amount of clay. So that's why this one's so tiny. And this one, I was about to give up. I was getting a little frustrated, but I just pushed through and now I'm happy with this. Like I'm gonna probably turn it into a tiny teacup or a mug, or I might just scrap it at the end of the day, but that's okay. I'm gonna commit myself to practicing throwing on the wheel at least 1 hour a day, and we'll see what happens. I'm not planning on selling these or anything. This is purely just for my sake, which honestly I haven't done in years. I'm so excited to see how far true discipline will take me, and hopefully I'll be able to center clay like a pro. That'd be pretty cool. Unfortunately, I do have other obligations, so I can't just throw all day. So I'm going to clean up and I'll see you guys very soon.
Rusty red on her shoulder, I was cleaning her shoe when it clicked on the trot over in the bright morning dew. We brushed and we braided dandelion